cameras in the playback. Dang, so tell me how you feel with it. You put a lid on it, I ain't got no chill with it. This right here your problem, you gon' have to deal with it. Lead on the line, high risk, that's the meal ticket. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold the ground where we at, never fall back. No lies, no facts, we gon' stay right where we at. We ain't never fall back. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We ain't never fall back. We ain't never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We ain't never fall back. Been way down, never falter. Came with the hands out, get them off us. I'm 24/7 in the office. Pay attention cause I ain't repeating offers. Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Here for whatever you bring me getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. We ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. Never fall back. We ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at. Yeah. No lies, no facts. You can find me right where I'm at. We ain't never fall back. We ain't never fall back. Yeah. We ain't never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We ain't never fall back. We ain't never fall back. And you can find me where I'm at. We ain't never fall back.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. How are you guys?
I'm good. How about-
Deweese?
I'm doing very well. How about you, Miss Jade?
I'm good.
I love all this pink going on. This is
I
great.
know. Pink and purple. It's our colors.
Yep, that's it.
So I got screen issues here. I tried sending an email and it's telling me I can't send it. Sorry, my screen keeps shifting. All right, so we got a really cool guest tonight, and
Absolutely.
we've been chatting with him. What's that?
I said absolutely.
Yep. Steve wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it. He's on a little vacation, so not sure if he's going to make it. We might have some other guests coming in at some point tonight. So let's just get right to it and then introduce Mr. Caleb in here. Hey, Caleb.
Hello. How are you, Jade? Hi, Deweese.
Hi.
Thanks for that fantastic intro.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really well put together.
You had a lot of stuff to pick from, so I tried, instead of making a 15-minute song, I had to cut it down a little bit.
Something's going on. I can't. The audio is not working here.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Test.
Can you hear us?
Okay, here we go.
All right. You good?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Good.
All right. We were chatting so much in here before the show, we didn't really get to tell him what to expect during the show, but I think he's kind of got it.
No.
Sounds like he does a lot of Zooms.
Audio just died. I'm not sure what's going on.
Put in earplugs.
What?
See if you got earplugs.
You can't hear me, or you can hear?
We can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put in earplugs.
Yeah. I don't know what to do here. Okay. Now.
Do you have some headphones?
Oh, this is so embarrassing. I don't know. Oh shit.
Let me put Chris on there and see.
You can hear me. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
show him.
I don't know what to do. It was just working when we first started.
Yeah. We're going to log you out and log you back in, boy.
Okay.
Let me exit him. Remove from the stream. Sorry about this, guys. I'm going to message him real quick and See if that'll help. Do the intro again. You guys like that one? Yeah, everything was working fine for the last 10, 15 minutes that we had him on there talking, and apparently that song Copay knocked out his audio.
Yep, it was too much for it.
So while we're waiting for him, hey, can you guys hit a thumbs up for us? Help us out with the show. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell, and that helps remind you when we go live. There's some days I kind of sneak on and do unscheduled stuff also.
All right, how are we doing?
Yep, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right.
Okay, excellent. Sorry about that. I don't know. Okay. Can't explain.
That is okay. That happens. So I'm just going to quickly say hi to Chris and Sarah, a guest last week. My husband Eric and Shane Planet Shane, Shane Wyman, Kelby Cox, Bill H, Copay J, Bill H, Mad Sloper, Big Nick Fulmer. Thank you and welcome to the show. And James Belleville, Linda Anderson, James, Trevor Steele is in the house. Rachel Blocker's in the house. Wiggy Wing from Canada is in the house. Welcome. Travis Arquette. Thank you guys all for coming in. Scuba and Kramer and John Wayne. Boy, if I missed you, I'm sorry, but you guys were in here early talking away. Chuck Dodge. So thank you all for joining us. So ask questions. Hey, Lori's in the house.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Caleb, Deweese, do you want to start first with questions?
Well, let's see. I'm gonna go up here to the top of here.
Did we have one?
Yeah, I think there are some questions. Okay. Let's see if I can find them.
Oh, I got one.
Okay, go for
Trevor is asking, Caleb, what's the secret to the amazing hair? Did he freeze now?
Oh no, is he frozen? No, there he is.
The amazing hair. I owe it all to my girlfriend. She cuts my hair for me. She's also a hairstylist, so maybe that's the trick right there.
Oh, lucky you. Eric just gets mine to buzz cut him.
All of a sudden.
I suppose my question is just start from the beginning and tell us how you got into paramotoring.
Okay.
Did he hear me? Caleb, did you hear me?
Lord.
I don't think he heard me.
You think he's stressing right now?
Yeah, maybe a little. Caleb?
Son of a gun.
Hello? Caleb?
Oh, this thing is dead. Okay, here we go.
You got us?
I got it. This thing is going to die on me again, though. I don't know why I'm having these issues.
Can you plug it in while you're talking?
Or
do you have some little earbuds?
Yeah, I have some earbuds. Here, you guys just talk amongst yourself here. I got to come back to you with that.
Yep, we will.
I will do that.
All right, we're going to remove him for a moment while he de-stresses. Anyway, so have you been flying, Deweese?
No, I have not. It's been too windy. By the time, I fly in the evening, and by the time evening gets here, it's too windy. So it's just not been good.
Well, you know what you got to do?
Get up early.
Early in the morning.
It's been windy in the morning as well. I've been looking at the windy app, and it's just too windy. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I see other people in the South are having some of the same problems.
Yeah, I think Sunday Eric made a comment that our cold Canadian wind that was horrible. I mean, it felt like it was 20 below with that cold wind. And I think it was maybe in the teens or 20s. He said that was going all the way down to Tennessee, Kentucky area, probably down by you guys even too.
Yeah.
On the
people that are braver than me can fly in it, but I'm not brave enough to fly in that higher wind. So, but hopefully in the next few days or weeks, it's going to start improving. Weather's hopefully going to get better. Get rid of some of the stormy
same
weather.
with us. I'm hoping to get a video with us flying with the skis on the trikes before, hopefully, if we ever get snow melted. So, okay, let's see if Caleb's ready to come back in.
All right.
How about now?
Okay.
Can you hear us? We can hear you.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, here we go. Man,
can you hear us?
Yes, we're good.
Yay.
Okay. All right. So let me ask my question again.
Please do. Thanks for being patient, everybody.
Do you want to go get a drink quick?
I'm good to go.
All
Water. Right. Here we are.
I guess start at the beginning and tell us how you got into paramotoring and when.
Oh, geez. I think I started the same way a lot of people do, by seeing a video on YouTube.
Don't tell us who.
Who?
Don't tell us who.
It was a guy who is very well known. He might be the most enthusiastic pilot I've ever seen. But yeah, it was Dell.
Yeah.
And Dell, he.
I thought you were going to say Tucker.
No, it wasn't Tucker. I went down the rabbit hole after watching Dell do what was amazing. Hey, Tori, how you doing? But here's the thing. So I saw him take off from an island in Nassau, and he went tandem and flew Teresa out to an island, and they landed. They camped, spent the night. What's up, Wes? And then the morning he got up and flew right back to the spot. I was like, what? Is this even a thing? I cannot believe my eyes. Like I decided right there, I was like, okay, I'm in. I want to learn to fly myself. And then I want to be able to, I'll keep it down. I won't say, I wanted to be able to take people up flying whenever I wanted to, whenever they wanted to, I eventually built up enough courage to pick up the phone and call. And he said, yeah, you got to come down to the Gulf of Mexico for 10 days. And, at the time I was working in a corporate sales job, selling software, financial software, and 10 days is a lot of time. I'm like, okay, really? And so anyways, I jumped in head first and bought all the gear and went down there. And flying and controlling a paraglider are things that you really can't prepare for until you actually get a glider in your hands and work it. And so, I'd kind of been an athlete all my life, doing, snowboarding or football in high school, just kind of staying active all the time, thinking, oh, I got this. I'm smart enough. I'm decently, capable. It was not as easy as I thought. It was a lot harder than I anticipated. So hard. Like, I spent 10 days down there controlling the glider, doing everything I could. And I didn't fly. I didn't even fly on my first training, which was, my mom's on here.
Hey, Mom.
Hello, Mama C. All right. Thank you. So I left, after 10 days of training, very, discouraged, but also just like excited to be around it. Cause I'm seeing folks take off and have their first flights, and, Trevor's down there. I get to meet Tyler, Leighton, Trevor Steele, of course. But like the way that those guys were just so free as a bird, I decided to come back. And so I came back to the next training. And that is when I actually did take off and have my first flight, which it's on video, and it is very terrifying to watch. Actually, I didn't realize, like, when you're kiting, you're out there and you can be on the beach and press down on the brakes, and that'll lift you up if there's enough wind. So I kind of use that same like philosophy as I was in the sky taking off, I went like straight up, like just hit the elevator button straight up and held onto the brakes for, I think, probably 8 seconds. Thank God I let them off, and then swooped in and did my first flight. Yeah, so that was my first flight, and it was exciting, but also terrifying at the same time, because like as soon as I was about 200 feet above the ground, I realized, oh my God, I'm in this chair by myself. Like, I'm in control. What am I doing up here? Because we're human. We're not naturally comfortable in that setting until you've done it a lot. So it scared the hell out of me and had me more fired up about anything that I'd done to that point. So I knew that I needed to get more training. I kept going back. I think I went probably 10 times in a row down there. And the one of the cool things about training wherever you go is the friendships that you make and that bond that it's created from having enough guts in your the courage in yourself to go do something that's kind of a wild dream. It takes a lot of guts, because like if you've never flown before and you start telling your family and friends, and God forbid if someone at work knows about it, they're like, are you totally nuts? Like, what are you thinking? So you got to get through all that. And then if you went the path that I went through, you also have to have some pretty thick skin when you come back home and you're flying a flat top and Dominator. It's great equipment. It served its purpose, but man, oh man, it's a hard stigma to shake off, regardless of who you are. You kind of always have to like let people know, I'm here to have fun. I just want to hang out with you guys and let's all go flying together. So that's how I got started.
All right, I'm going to change the subject for 1 second. I'm going to show a screen. We're not going to do the spinny wheel tonight. We're going to do something different. Every once in a while, I'm going to post something, and if you see it, you type it exactly the way you see it, and then we'll pick who's going to win. So give me 1 second to share that screen if I can figure out where it went. And there you go. All right. So, all right. Next question real quick is Scuba's asking, what was Caleb's worst or biggest mistake so far in paramotoring?
Worst and biggest mistake. So my worst mistake, I'll start with that. That was early on, and I counted all of my flights up till about 1,000. And so I was like flight 69 or 70, and I decided to take off and fly from Discovery Park in Seattle, right next to the Puget Sound. And I was, my buddy was there. So I was, kind of flying around, showing off a little bit for him. And there was this tree that was standing there. There was like a row of trees, and I was flying around and I was looking at this tree, and my focus was just on this. And it was there were no leaves on it or anything. And there was a big V in the middle, and I thought I could fly through it like I had, brushed by a tree on a dirt bike or on a snowboard. And it did not end well. Like half of my wing got wrapped around the branch, and I was 75 feet up. I just went straight down. And the crumple zone on that paramotor, it grabbed me because, when I hit the ground, I fractured my heel, but the frame of the machine and where the harness is positioned, it caught the rest of my weight. And I was terrified. Like I couldn't believe what had just happened. And I thought when I was looking down, I would have seen like 2 ankles just off to the side, but that's not the case. I did fracture my heel, and I was in a boot for about 6 weeks, but I got back into it, and I actually flew with the boot on. So that was the worst, for sure the worst. And then the biggest mistake, I would say the biggest mistake is really whenever, like, whenever I felt so like I got this or I need to go, the energy level and excitement of just like I want to go flying is I've had a couple times where it's really bit me in the butt hard, and it's when you don't check the weather. It's when you don't realize, like, oh my gosh, you're about to go up in the air, even though you've done it hundreds and hundreds of times before. Like, you got to respect the LZ, the weather, your gear, and you. And so the most recent example of that comes to mind after watching Top Gun Maverick with Trevor and Tyler Layton and Greg Parati out there in Utah. And of course, you got to go fly after watching Top Gun, like with the boys. Like, that has to happen. But the only reason that we weren't flying in the first place is because it was raining. And, out in Utah, it can go from like rain to bright sun in, a minute and a half, it seems like. And like I had asked Trevor that morning, can we shoot the gap and go flying in between the rain showers? He's like, you can, but it's not going to be great. And well, anyways, the movie got out, the sun was out, and we're like, I'm going to send it. We're going to go for it. And it was at that point that I really learned about how, like, thermals, they have rising air on one side and then sinking air on the other. And at the time I was flying downwind, and I bumped and then started to sink. And no matter how much I pulled on these brakes, I wasn't getting any altitude. And I just slid right into the ground and twisted an ankle. So, the thing is when you stop, like, having a system that you follow to ensure that you're going to be smart about taking off, and you just get too excited, I think that's when the worst stuff can happen.
Right. All right. So, hang on one second. Somebody had a question about, actually our last week guest, she had a question about, what's your thought on helmets?
Helmets. I'm a big fan of helmets. The helmets on, I mean, for one, it keeps your head warm. Two, it keeps your head safe if you were to ever, like, hit something. I feel like it's very, like, it would be really odd for you to hit your head while paramotoring. So, I kind of feel like helmets are there just to hold your communication earmuffs on. Like, if you don't have a helmet, you can't have the really strong Pelotor earmuffs. I put my Bluetooth in there, so I'm always listening to music when I'm flying. So, like, for me, a helmet, it's warm, it's safe, it looks cool if you have a good one, and it's the only way you can communicate. So I can't think of any valid reason why you wouldn't want to have a helmet.
Right. All right.
And if you're someone that, just really has to do it, like, treat yourself, and do that on a day where the odds are in your favor, and this is going to be just an easy peasy type of flight. But I honestly can't think of any good reason not to wear a helmet. So these are just simple things that I always do, like, wear a helmet. Hey, wear a helmet when you're riding a one wheel. That's when it really matters.
Got that, Sarah? All right. All right. So there's one other person that might know a little bit about you. And we're going to bring them in to see if they can give us some little scoop on you too.
Uh-oh.
Hey, look who it is.
Kayla.
Oh, man. Trevor Steele.
We wanted to surprise you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love talking to Trevor. He's always fun. Always good time.
You were supposed to call me this morning, Caleb, if you remember that, and you never did. So now I finally get to talk to you today. Our daily conversation.
Oh, that's so funny. No, I didn't forget. I know I didn't. It's, believe it or not, I've been having technical problems with work.
Give me your excuses,
long.
Caleb. I'm listening. I'm listening to the excuses. I'm here for them.
I figured I'd be chatting with you, but I didn't think I'd be in video call with you. So, man, you got me for sure.
With an audience, yes.
Yeah, one thing I will say, Trevor always picks up all the time, and I applaud you so much for doing that, buddy. Because I mean, I go to Trevor for advice all the time, and I say this, when anybody's looking for a trainer, whomever it is, if they like follow through with your flying journey after training, and they pick up the phone when you need them, that is a sign of a real professional, someone that cares enough to be there for you. Because when you decide to become a trainer of any type, like people are coming to you and putting their life in your hands. If you're an instructor, and it's not enough to be able to just like chuck someone in the sky and give them an attaboy. Like you really need to be there for that follow through for the years to come. And Trevor and I, we've become very close friends. So I imagine, our relationship's a little bit different than maybe some other folks that he's worked with. But yeah, like if you're going to be that guy, you gotta be there to pick up the phone and pick up, when people need weather advice or anything along those lines.
I always try and answer your calls. I think I'm frozen. Maybe I'm not frozen.
You're not.
Mm-mm.
I'm not. That's good.
You're good now.
You're good now.
That's good. Yeah, Caleb, you call me all the time, and I always try and answer your phone calls. Always try and answer your phone calls. And everybody else's. But I will tell you, I don't talk to everybody else for about an hour a day. I do talk to you for about an hour a day.
Oh my God, you guys are worse than a bunch of girls.
We are. We will sit and talk. It's hilarious.
Well, there's a lot of content, and like as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, like it's not just you, Trevor. I mean, I'm calling Travis and Chris Altmeyer and Wes and all the guys. Like I feel as though like I talk to my paramotor people probably with more genuine authenticity than anybody else in my life, and I talk for a living, and so it's nice. It's nice to have authenticity reciprocated and that you can actually go do something and have fun together and build memories. Yeah,
it's a super special, unique industry. That's definitely for sure. You just talk to everybody in the paramotor world all the time, but let's hear more about your story, Caleb. Let's talk more about Caleb Koch. This is all about you. So how can we learn more about you? I want to know, Caleb, what was some of the biggest challenges you had when you were a new paramotor pilot, and how did you overcome those?
Biggest challenges. I think I struggled a lot with my launching and like shortening the distance with my launches. And it's weird. Like sometimes you just kind of get into that habit of like running and like jumping into your seat or you don't have that perfect form. And it seemed like for years almost I was good enough to get in the air, but it was never like something I was super proud of. And so through lots of questioning and practice and like doing video and everything, I've got it now. I will also say when I switched away from the flat top and started flying on like the Maverick, and now I fly on the Iris Infinity, I noticed that like my leg straps were tightened too much on the flat top. So it would cause me to hunch over as I would pick up my leg, the seat board would pull me down. So I feel like I might have been out of adjustment for years, but that also probably my technique. So that's like the thing I struggled with. But I always loved flying. The thing that really like I would like stay up late at night and worry about was engine maintenance. I didn't know anything about engine maintenance at all. Zero, like when I first started flying. And then all of a sudden now I need to know how to operate a 2-stroke engine. And like if my carb wasn't dialed in right, or if it wasn't, if I didn't feel like I have enough juice, or like the fuel lines might have air in there, like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And so it would always like frustrate me, because if I had a breakdown out in the field, that moment's like, I know enough to know I don't know it all would hit me a lot. And then also, like, if I like wanted to be flying and I don't know the answer, and I think about flying when I'm laying in bed at night, I'm like, God dang it, I want to know how to do this. Like, where's Mo? I need my mechanic to come.
You always gotta have you just have to have a mechanic as the best friend.
Yeah,
that's been my secret to having good working motors, is to have Mike.
Yeah, for sure.
But
for sure.
let me, I want to hear the story of a certain flight that you took up Mount Timpanogos that I remember was somewhat impactful to you and kind of scary. Tell us a little bit more about that particular flight.
Yeah. So this was probably like 2 years into it, and I had just come back from Corpus Christi, and I was feeling good, feeling really confident, of course. And at the time, I don't think I had flown higher than like 2,500 feet, maybe 3,000. And we get over to my instructor's house, and he has his son, and I'm with Tyler, and he's like, all right, guys, we are going to fly up there. I'm like, up there? What do you mean? He's like, we're going up Timpanogos, and it is a 14,000 foot mountain.
11.
It felt like 14, Trev. But it was super high, and we had to take off from the field and get to the mountain. And he told me, he's like, well, when you're on the mountain edge, you're going to want to get really, really close to the mountainside so that you can catch the wind and get lifted without burning through all of your gas. And so, like, getting that close to a mountain, like the mountain itself, just getting close to a mountain feels intimidating because you feel so small. But it felt okay because I was with four pilots, and we start going up, zigzagging, and Dell and Jordan, was it Jordan? No, Troy. They just they've done this before, so they're like way up there already. And then Tyler, he and I are, kind of trying to get up there, and like at about 6,000 feet, like I'm tapping on my microphone, like, guys, slow down. Like, what are we doing here? And then I'm like now at 8,000, 9,000 feet, and I'm in the middle right here. Like, it is super far away to go away from the guys. It's also scary as hell up there. Like, I am full on like man scared. Like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm so angry, pissed, because I have to keep going. So eventually, like we get up all the way to the top, and the wind was like blowing us so hard that we went up to the summit, and then probably another 1,000 feet up. And with that wind pushing us up, we couldn't really go anywhere else. Like, we were trying to come back down, but the wind was just blowing so hard that eventually we flew away from the mountain and started to make our way back into the city. And as I was coming down, an airplane flew directly underneath me. Like, I remember looking between my legs and seeing this white biplane just go through. So it was a lot. It was a lot of excitement. It was fun. I was kind of terrified until I got my feet back on the ground. As soon as I got back on the ground, I'm like, let's do it again. Let's go. Let's do it one more time.
Would you say that was the scariest flight you've ever had?
I think so. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, yeah, I think so.
What?
I got in some pretty rowdy, windy conditions with the guys about 1.5 years ago out in Chehalis. But it also was with 8 guys in the sky, and there was turbulence here, there, wind kind of going through channels, and I guess you kind of feel a little tougher when you're looking around and you see other people like getting through it too. And I've mentioned now,
your man scared goes down, is what you're saying.
It does. I'm like, oh, these guys can do it. I can do it too. The thing is like one of the fun things I enjoy about the sport is getting to that point of like panic and not like, I haven't been in this place before, and staying calm and working through and like going back onto the fundamentals. trusting your gear and trusting your skills that you've built. And then, seeing that again and conquering it. Like I really enjoy that.
Really? Okay. Let's change gears a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about your transition from what you used to fly to maybe more of the new cool fun things that you fly now. What was that like? Because not a lot of people make that switch.
Yeah. So, in my pursuit to like being more fuel efficient, and like as I was doing bigger and bigger wing overs and eventually getting a barrel roll in, like I wanted to, number one, not come out of the sky first, because I was flying on a 2.5 gallon tank, and generally I'm flying on a 19-meter wing. And so like my fuel efficiency is the worst in the group, and that would be frustrating. So I was looking for something that was more efficient. And coming off of the campaign that, who puts you through, like I was not interested in trying anything else. And, I know that, Trevor, you came from the same school, like twice as long, 3 times as long as me, and closer than anybody else. So, I watched what you did, and there was a moment where you were on the Adventure Wingman Challenge, took a nasty collapse, and fortunately you had your camera on. Like you recovered from it, and like the trims were all the way out. You hammered on the brakes, and what didn't happen was the backflip 180 into a death spiral. You lived to tell the tale, and frankly, that takes a lot of guts to test the mettle of your ideas against like the things that you have been taught for so long. And seeing that people weren't like dying and crashing in horrible ways on reflex gliders made me want to like give this a shot, and see what's going on. Because there was a question that I had asked about like the Dominator, and it was like, is there a wing out there today that's better than what we have? And the answer was no. Of course, I expected that.
I take it you asked, who that question?
I asked. I feel like I'm talking about Voldemort or something. We're like on
the name that shall not be named.
The name shall not be named. But yeah, no, I asked Dell and said, hey, what's the deal? Like, is there a wing that in the future would be better than the Dominator wing? And he said, no, probably if you took out maybe 1 or 2 of the lines, it'd be more efficient. And like that thinking, I was like, no, this can't be, because like the Dominator itself became a wing after it had, other older versions, and just the way technology moves and the way everything moves, things get improved. So like there was chinks in the armor, and I decided I want to try something new. So I tried out the Ozone Sirocco 3. And when I got underneath that, it was a completely different wing. Like it pops up so easily. It just hangs out there. Like I remember kiting it on the field the first day, and it was light wind, and it just stayed up there. And like I let it go forward thinking it's going to collapse. It didn't. It just kind of hovered like this and came down. I'm like, wow. Like that is incredible. That performs better than the wing I had before. So I got in the sky, started playing with the tip steering, really enjoyed it. I will have to say, I also flew the Sky Flux. And so from the Dominator to the Sky Flux, which had tip steering, I knew that there was an advantage of having that 2D steering. And then I went full reflex with the Sirocco 3, and I got faster speed, better landings, easier wing overs and rolls.
One thing that I think you're leaving out of this story that makes it just so good is the 15 minutes after, or the 15-minute flight where you then called me and said, this is better in every way, and talked my ear off for an hour like a little kid in a candy store. That one always gets me. That was my favorite part.
Well, yeah, I was gushing, honestly, because it was like my flying had been held back for so long, is what it felt like. I was kind of pissed, to be honest. I'm like, what the heck? Like I've been flying on a wing that, didn't give me all the things that I was ready for. I guess, pat on the back, like I went slow and eventually got there. But yeah, no, the Sirocco 3, it unlocked a whole nother level of flying completely. And I mean, you'll see that just in like some of the videos on my YouTube channel. Like I'm flat and level. Now it's like I just want to spin and whip it up and cut it up as much as I can. So yeah, so that was kind of the first step, is getting onto a reflex and understanding that, hey, this thing is actually really safe, and there's no need to be terrified or paranoid or anything. It's all about how you use it.
Would you say there's moments in which you could have flashbacks / get scared because of all the things that you thought before you switched? Like, are there ever flights on your Sirocco 3 where all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, is this it? Or have you been able to flush out the Kool-Aid fully, as I like to refer to it?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I don't feel that way at all ever anymore. When I was taking my first, flights for like the first few months, the wing was talking to me a lot more. There's a lot more feedback than what I was used to on the Dominator, mainly because like the Air Force, Ram Force cells, they're smaller and there's more of them. And when you look at just the profile of a reflex wing today compared to a Dominator, like the Dominator cells are freaking huge. It's like driving a Mack truck through all the turbulence or rotor or whatever. And it feels more stable, but you're also giving up a lot of efficiency and agility that's not necessary. Like there's better things out there.
Mm. So you would say that when you switched wings, everything changed?
Absolutely.
So what is the next wing on your horizon?
I just bought a free ride too. So that's
tell us a little bit about what it was like hopping on that free ride 2 down at Salton Sea, going from the Sirocco to the free ride. What was that like for you?
Man, the free ride 2, it was nice to get back. So the Sirocco 3 that I have is a 24 meter. It's really big, and that's great because it takes off and lands really well. But like I missed some of the agility of a 19 meter wing because I've been flying on that forever. So to get a 19 meter wing again, it just felt light in my hand. It felt like, that's the size that I enjoy. But like it popped up great. Like Ozone is just so awesome at making wings that are easy to launch. The trims were really short. It was easy. It's kind of no-brainer stuff, but it was fast. It was really fast, and I loved how, like, if I pull on that brake toggle, like it's doing exactly what I want. I felt like it didn't go more than what I needed. It gave me everything I wanted that I had in my mind. Like the wing just did it. And then when I combined the speed bar with that, dude, I was going so fast. There's one guy in our crew, Chris Altmeyer, and he is notoriously the fastest guy in our group all the day, every day. Like it's like I love flying with Chris, but at the same time, I'm like, slow down, dude. Like I want to cut it up with you. So when I got the free ride 2, dude, I smoked him. It was so good. Like it was so fast. This wing is it's a real joy to fly. And it's not that I want to, be the fastest in my friend group. I just want everyone to be at the same speed so that we can all cut it up. And no, the free ride, it met all my expectations and beyond. It was really great.
Good.
2.
The free ride 2. What color did you end up getting?
Well, I got it from a guy out in Florida, and it's yellow, and he had custom colors on it. So, we worked out a pretty screaming deal there. I couldn't say no.
Sweet.
But the next wing that I'd like to get underneath is the Viper XC. Viper Cross Country XC. I'd like to give that a shot. The other thing too, like, getting into a different paramotor frame is also quite nice. Like more comfortable harnesses with the Iris Infinity that I have,
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the switch from the flat top to the Iris. What exactly did you notice that changed? Did your flying improve? Were you able to do more? Tell us about that switch.
Yeah. So what I noticed was, the articulating arms make weight shifting so much easier. And in particular with the Iris, it has the 3D floating mechanism. So the swing arms move in and out and up and down. So I noticed that that was helping to like eat up a lot of the turbulence and chatter. And then when I'd weight shift, the machine would do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. So it felt like I was able to tuck in sharper on my turns, and it felt more comfortable. The other thing, like I fly on the factory R, and that engine itself, like it just has a lower tone to it. So like my ears aren't ringing at the end of a flight. And the other thing I really liked was having a much bigger fuel tank. Like mine is an 18 liter, so I can fly like 3.5 hours on that thing. Maybe 6 if I was actually not just cutting it up all the time. Like if I ever went flat.
You actually flew flat and level.
Yeah. What's that? Who's got time?
What's that?
Okay. So, 1 second. We're going to take an intermission, and then we're going to come back and do the spinning wheel, and we can continue.
I'm going to bow out. I'm going to go eat dinner.
You're going to go eat dinner?
All
right.
Yep. See you guys.
Thanks for joining us, Trevor.
I'll wait to hear from you tomorrow, Caleb.
I'll call.
Okay. See you guys.
See you.
Good night, Trevor. All right. We're going to be right back. Enjoy the commercial real quick and grab yourself something to drink. Stretch. We'll be right back.
I'm going to get some more water.
Yep.
Are you ready to hit the open skies and fly to new heights? Well, Lone Star Paramotor is here to help you turn your dreams into reality. Their mission is to help you gain the freedom to achieve more in life, experience your dreams of flight, and embrace the amazing adventure that awaits with their passionate flight team. Classes are tailored to your skill level and interest to help you achieve your goals. They merge the expertise and skills of the best local paramotor instructors to bring you a method of learning that launches you into new heights. As certified USPPA and ASC Paramotor Training School, they're proud to share their love of flight with past, current, and new students. Check them out at LoneStarParamotor.com or give Ron and his crew a call at 512-431-0173. Fly safe.
All right. Oh my goodness. Who do we have here now? Shh, don't tell them. I'm giving them a bunch of surprises tonight, huh? How are you, Rachel? Good. All right. We're going to do the spinning wheel. We'll do that real quick. I'm going to shut you down for a second, Rachel. All right. Let's do the spinning wheel real quick. We're going to do a Just Wanna Fly sticker. All right, Caleb, we're going to do a spinning wheel sticker spin. You didn't even hear anything I said.
Got you.
Let's see if I can find it. Share. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Gladys. Congrats, Gladys.
Yay.
She is an aviator girl.
Oh, really?
Yep. Her and her husband work down at Aviator. So.
Well, they work down there. Nice.
Yep.
Must be good to be out in Florida weather all the time. Although I hear Florida's, you can only fly like really early in the morning and in the evenings because it gets windy and turbulent out there.
Well, they've been making me jealous all winter. So, all right.
Yeah,
I got to push a button here for a second. Let's see.
Hey, Rachel. Hello. Oh, my God. So good to see that face. Rachel was my very first Tandem passenger, and she is just an amazing person. The amount of like progression that you've done in commitment to the sport, I'm just always impressed with you.
Oh, Coke hero. the man that literally brought this into my life.
On a one wheel too.
Didn't know anything about it. My first tandem flight, and that was it. I was hooked.
Yes.
It's pretty cool.
That's
and
so
I would have
cool.
to say, Caleb's enthusiasm, it radiated out of him when he was telling me about it. And I totally connected with that. And because he was so excited, it made me excited.
Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
I like to bring the good vibes.
She wanted to join in and say hi, so
thank you for doing that. No, Rachel, I just love that you're flying and you're still like in it, and your friends are all over Texas, and it's like, for me, like, flying is the thing that gives me mojo. Like, it is what pumps me up. I talk about it at work. I talk about it to my friends. I mean, I will talk about it to like anybody who will listen, because I just think, like, whatever, if you're lucky enough to find something that makes you feel like that, maybe, just maybe, that will inspire someone to either get into the sport themselves or realize, like, holy shit, I am just wasting time. Like, why am I not doing the thing that I want to do? Like, grit your teeth and say, hell yeah, and do it. So
yeah, it's incredible. I mean, and that's true. When you came up and you told me all about it, I was excited because I wanted to try something new, but your excitement also made me excited. And then when I went out and everything, and ended up joining the whole group, it's been 4 years of incredible, all of it, the flying, the camaraderie, just everything.
One funny thing about it was that, like, when I was talking to Rachel, I did not tell her that she was my first passenger, or would.
No, he did not.
Everything went perfectly. It was a beautiful takeoff, a great landing. We all had a good time. But the way that Rachel and I actually met, like, we were staying at a townhouse that was like across the street from where she lived. And anyways, we were like, I was zipping around on an EUC one day, and I was like, hey, how you doing? So anyways, she went back home after the flight, and we invited her to come hang out with us. She's like, I got to tell you something. I'm afraid of heights. Like, I never would have imagined myself doing that. I'm like, oh, well, if we're being honest here, you were actually the first person I've ever done that with. Yeah.
Yeah, thank God it all went good, because I was his first tandem passenger. And I did not tell him I had tremendous fear of heights. I was like, I'm not going to say a word. And then after the flight, it was like, time to fess up.
Right. But I mean, we went on several flights together. Yeah. I mean, 7 or 8, I'd say. And then there was other guys that flew that you went on tandem flights with too. So, I really love how this sport brings people together that you would never have expected to be a part of your life. And then all of a sudden, they're there. And like, you have this bond that's like, it seems like unbreakable. You have to do something really, really bad, to break up with a paramotor buddy. And, that's one of the things that I enjoy the most about this sport, is just how, like, how people are living their best lives, and people are doing this thing that makes them feel more alive than anything else. And, when I talk about it, like I say, I talk about it at work, I talk about it, to anyone. I think life is so short, and people just kind of get into this routine so easily, where the days and weeks start to just roll faster and faster and faster. And, it would be a real shame to realize one day that there are a lot of things that you wanted to do that you're physically not capable of doing anymore, or like any number of things that can happen to your life, financially, emotionally, whatever. I just want people to do that thing that makes them feel alive, and not worry about things so much. When I say not worry about it so much, like, the other thing is like, this is a skill that can be taught and mastered. And it's as scary and it's as risky as you want to make it. To all those haters that might come out and say like, oh, you're crazy. I say to them all the time, I'm like, you're crazy if you take a step out onto the street without looking both ways, but you've mastered that and you're still here, right? So those are just 3 easy steps, left, right, left again. Stack one more. And like, before you know it, you could be flying, you could be rock climbing or mastering snowboarding or skiing or whatever. Like, just get out and do it.
Yep. And like Eric, my husband, said that we've met some amazing people through PPG fly-ins and this show. And Rachel and I were discussing this earlier today on the phone, that this show brought so many of us back or all together. I haven't met Rachel personally yet in person, but it's like we plan to very soon. But we talk to each other at least twice a month, and it's like, I've got Gladys down in Florida. I've got Wendy and I've got John Wayne and I've got Bill H. and Travis DuPont in different states. I've got Sarah that we just met last week, and I've got Caleb now. And this is awesome. It's like one big happy family.
I will drive wherever to meet you for a flight or have a beer, or if you need a place to crash, it's all about the community. I think that's what keeps people in it.
Yep. All right.
What are some other questions here?
Let's see. There was some way up in the top here I was trying to save. Scuba had asked a question when you were talking about your one flight, very thermic. He wanted to know if that was during the day or the evening or midday, I think.
It was about 3:00, so it was midday.
Okay.
And the reason that I crashed is because I took off and I flew. I was flying downwind, and I got some sinking air, and like I was flying downwind at a higher altitude than what I'm used to, and had I been higher, that wouldn't have happened. I would have been a lot better. Having a little bit of altitude is your friend all the time, always.
Definitely.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, you're fine.
I was just going to ask, the day that you flew up, you went up on the mountain and you flew, right. Was that the day you did the 14,000 foot?
Yeah, that was the day. So I guess it was 12,000 feet, since the mountain is 11,000. We went about 1,000 feet above that. And yeah, that was the day.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's.
And then Eric wants to know, how many years total now have you been flying?
So this June will make it 6 years. So almost 6 years.
How long?
Yes.
How long did you come? Like, you came to training for a while. How long did you do that?
I went to every super training for 10 sessions. So that would be 20 months. So for about 2.5 years, I went back, and I wouldn't go every single time. I'm sorry, it's not every single time. I wouldn't stay all the days. Like, I would go 4 days, 5 days. And then eventually, like, I loved it so much. And like, I was kind of getting burnt out on the corporate sales. Not that I didn't like the people I worked with or any of that, but just the amount of time that it takes to like get yourself ready for a demo or get yourself ready for a quarterly business review or any of those things. And like, when a deal doesn't work out and you lose it, and I'm looking out the window, I'm like, man, this is such a great day. I could have been flying. Like, I had this wild idea and pulled the trigger on it to take all of the skills that I had learned from flying and understanding how to build a website, and just went for it. I moved down to Corpus Christi for about 5 months, maybe closer to 6, to just fly full time and do tandem flights for people that were interested. And that was some of the best times of my life. I will say that. But it's a double-edged sword, because when you're doing something that you love to make money at it, and maybe that's not the day that you want to go flying, or you kind of push yourself in a way, like, you can kind of lose the the fun factor of flying. And my timing could have been better. If you ever are going to do a tandem flying business, your clients are there from spring break till the end of summer, Labor Day. So you got to time it right. And maybe someday I'll go for it again. But flying on the beach and just being down there with the perfect wind, there's something about like getting extra sun and just being, carefree and doing whatever you want. Have I done a power loop? I almost did a power loop recently it was not planned. I kind of got derailed there, but there was a time last week. In fact, I was flying on my buddy Travis's Spider 3, and I did a barrel roll, and then turned into another barrel roll. And I remember feeling like, okay, I'm done with this. Like I don't want to be doing this anymore. And so I tried to like kill the energy just by pulling on the brake. And I don't know what I was thinking. But I went straight through, like, how your wings like this. I guess how we do this. So I'm up here, like when you come right through, you got a lot of energy, and you got to either bleed it out to the left or right. I just went right through and then went all the way up. My lines went slack. My wing twisted. I came down and my risers were twisted in the air. Like I had never seen that before. And so I pulled it tight and spun back and flew flat and level away. That was kind of crazy.
Wow.
Not
So Wes is asked. Oh, go ahead, Louise.
I was just going to ask if your tandem is a foot launch. Is that right?
Yeah, it's foot launch when I've done tandems. And to be honest, I haven't done any tandems for quite a long time. I would say probably about 2 years now. And it's only because I want to get a bigger wing. I want it to just be like much easier for folks to take off and to land, because you got to be perfect when you're doing tandems. There's really no room for messing up or anything like that. So
have you ever tried a trike?
I have not, but I would like to.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, you need to try it. Yeah, it's a whole new experience.
The only way I'd want to fly on a trike is if it was a 2-seater trike. Like I'm very interested in getting one of those Fly Products 2-seater tandem trikes. That would be awesome. I'd love to be able to have that. Yeah. I've always wanted to take my mom for a flight. She would love to do that. At least I keep telling myself that she would love to do that. I don't know if she feels that way. I know I took my sister for a flight and she loved it.
Your mom's in here, isn't she? Why don't you ask her?
Yeah, I think
she was. Yeah,
Mom, it's gonna happen someday.
That's what I keep telling my mom too.
Yeah. My sister was brave enough to do it, and we for sure had the whole thing on GoPro.
Is her name Janine?
That's her, Jeannie, right there.
There you go.
The only one with the last name code.
Janine. Oh, Jean. Yeah.
Jeannie.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, no, Sarah, she took off and flew with me. Her face was so nervous when we first took off. She was like, what am I doing? And then you could see, like, after about 8 minutes, she got calm and relaxed and had a really good time. But
did she only go once with you?
Yes,
okay.
Just one time. Yeah. She moved down to California, so that was the thing. I was like, if you leave Washington, like, we got to do this before you go.
So Wes is saying, let's do this before summer's end when we get Chris back.
I think he's talking about flying around Mount Rainier.
Yeah.
And
or
yes. The answer is I would do that. So Wes has this really great piece of property that's down in Buckley, and through his friendship with his neighbor and a business deal, he was able to secure 4 acres of raw land, which was then developed. Just so happens this friend happened to have a lot of heavy machinery. So they were out there with excavators and bulldozers and flatteners, and they cleared this entire piece of land. So it's flat and it's now seeded. So we got this green grass, flat piece of land, and it's 25 miles away from Mount Rainier. So, you know, I am excited to go do that. I think we need to make sure that we do it the right way with everybody having, you know, a Garmin GPS, and make sure that we do it on a day where it's not very windy, and you know, everybody's prepared for it. But yeah, we're real lucky to live in Washington, where you have a mountain to go fly around or go fly through, fly next to a waterfall. Like it's all very, very close. I will put a plug in for this. We have one of the most amazing places to fly in Moses Lake, which is about 2 hours away from Seattle. And in the summertime, the potholes lakes, so like they're very shallow pools of water, and they're warm, they're flat, and people can just go flying over there and sliding over the water. I mean, there's really no feeling like sliding over water. I mean, you are just at this apex of momentum and energy, and oh my God, I can't believe I can do this. And so we've been doing that for a couple of years, and we kind of made it official 2 years ago, and then the next year it got bigger, and this year we hope to, you know, have as much as 75 pilots out there. That would be fantastic. But there's swimming, and you can ride your ATVs and dirt bikes and amazing sunsets. So yeah, Moses Lake, Washington in September, putting the plug out.
What are the dates, Caleb?
It's the 23rd through the 25th of September. And it's a great time. Like pretty much you can, you know, go out there at the dunes and be as loud as you want, ride whatever you want to ride, and just get after it. I feel like something's about to happen here. Let's
tell. I just pulled this picture up. Tell
about this
more about this place. I want to go there.
Yeah. So I think this might be my very favorite all-time paramotor photo. My good friend Joe Nolte took it while we were flying, and it's probably 30 minutes away from our house. And like this flight, we were just cruising around. We actually had just finished flying over the top of a Subaru rally car track, and got to see all that. But Rory was with me, and Chris Altmeyer was with me, and I know someone else I'm leaving out. Sorry, whoever that is. But yeah, I just came down close to the water here, and you know, I didn't feel any turbulence. There's not much of an out right there, but I just came down real close. Didn't even know that Joe was going to take that, but he had his point and shoot camera, just snapped this awesome photo. And yeah, Snoqualmie Falls is also a really beautiful place to stay. On the upper left-hand corner there's a lodge called the Salish Lodge. So that's a pretty fancy spot. It's probably $400 a night to stay, but there's always people like right on the edge of this, watching the waterfalls. So it's a great place to go down and swoop.
Wow.
Caleb, tell everyone about when you did the flight in Washington with the guy that you took him. You got to talk about that.
Oh my gosh.
That was cool.
Bringing out all the things.
That was super cool.
Yeah. So like in my first year of flying, like I didn't like really hardly know anybody over here in Washington, but I was taking off and flying from the beaches in Kirkland, because Kirkland is right next to Lake Washington. And so like this was familiar to me. It's like perfect wind, short runways, but you know, I got it. So I was flying and landing in Kirkland City Parks. And one guy saw me and he's like, wow, that is absolutely amazing. You got to fly me to work one day. I'm like, what? He's like, I work at Google, and I'm doing a 30-day campaign of 30 different ways to get to work without a car. And I'd like you to fly me to work. And so I could do tandems. I said, hell yeah, man, we're doing this. Let's go for it. So we met up early in the morning one day, and I took off from a park nearby, and flew out over, like he got permission from Google for me to land in the campus. And I was out there flying around. The entire building came outside. Everybody was lined around all of the catwalks. People were on the top deck. There was wind. I was like, you know, like I'm in my second year of flying, and like we circle. I get really, really low, and I realized that the landing strip is like, you know, it's very short, and then there's a giant building right next to it. So I ended up, we just did a bunch of swoops, and then I landed at a park like a block away. But that ended up making it into the Como 4 News. Also, the Cairo 7 News chopper picked me up while I was flying over. So like there's one part of this flight where I'm over the city, and it doesn't look good. It looks really, really bad, actually. And it made it on the local news. And so a lot of people in Washington didn't know who I was until they see this freaking paraglider guy tandem flying over, like, and they got the city wrong. They said I was flying over Renton, which I wasn't. But like it was the wrong thing to be putting in the news. So that was a splashy entrance onto the Washington scene. There was actually a full story that had the proper takeoff and landing, and made it look a lot better. But man, the news made it all the way over to like Missouri. Like if you type it in right now, like Google employee flies to work, it's still.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more. I want to know where this
field
is. These are tulips.
Yeah. So
are they blooming right now yet, or
they are probably budding right now? But in about a month, in about a month, you will see like there's probably 20 of these fields that look just like what you see in the photo there, just rows and rows of color, and it's beautiful. Like. There's a video on my YouTube channel of our most recent flight. This one was, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago. But we take off and fly over, and it's wild. Like you smell the tulips, and it's crazy to be flying so low to the flowers, and you know, just the changing colors. It's not really like anything else that you can experience unless you fly over a tulip field. So It's in Tulalip.
Okay. I want to go see one, at least see one, but eventually that would be cool to fly.
I would recommend flying over just walking, because the thing is like if you go there, everybody who wants to have a nice brunch Saturday afternoon is driving up there, and it's 2-lane roads all the way through to each one of these fields. And then you pay a fee, and then you walk through the fields. And I don't know, if you have the ability to fly, do that.
Yeah. Bucket list thing.
Yeah, bucket list for sure. I'll tell you what's on my bucket list that I'm about to go do. At the end of May, early June, I'm going to go fly camping for the very first time.
Oh,
and
cool.
I am very excited to do this. It's going to be out in Utah with, surprise, Trevor. He's putting together like a 300-mile 4-day event, and I'm very stoked to fly somewhere, land, camp in the morning, wake up, guess I'm flying off this mountain this morning, and do that a couple times. There's some really awesome flights up here in Washington that kind of were also part of the inspiration to get into the sport. They're the Enchantment Lakes, and these Enchantment Lakes are about 20 minutes by air from Leavenworth, and that's not too far from here. But I would love to like get up and fly around there. I don't know if there's really a place where I could put down and land, but it'd be nice to have that in my tool belt if I ever wanted to.
Definitely.
If you fly around the mountain, did you say Mount Hood or Mount? Which mountain was it?
Rainier.
The mountain earlier. I was talking about Mount Rainier.
If you fly around Mount Rainier, make sure you and the guys put together some kind of video and publish it.
Do you think that would be a good video to maybe make if we did that?
Oh yeah,
Duh.
Yes, of course. I mean,
absolutely.
of course we'll be taking video for sure.
Because
For
we all
sure.
want to see that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to share that. You know, it's kind of amazing, like all the skills that like a fully well-rounded paramotor pilot has to have. Not only do you have to fly, but you should probably be pretty good at like editing video and then producing better video. And like, how about getting the right audio? Oh my God, like I can't hear this right, you know? And then the communications that you got to have too to stay in touch with everybody. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff.
Definitely.
And music, your music.
Oh yeah.
That's important. Like I'm not even going to fly if I can't listen to music. I listen to like EDM music in the sky. I'm 120 beats a minute, just going for it.
Caleb was here setting up to launch one time. And the wing that I have, he was gonna fly the wing because it's small. I can't fly it. It's too small for me. Well, he was gonna take off with it, but he was getting all his stuff set up, and he forgot his music, and he's like, "Hold on, stop everything. I got to get my music." So,
yeah.
Your mom.
You just kind of flow with it.
It's not the mom music.
Oh, yeah. So my mom is the biggest critic of my music. She I don't think she watches any video that has. She's like, bad music, done. No, she watches it, but she won't share it with her friends if it's got my uppity music. She prefers classics. And you know what? Like, I don't need to have that all the time. Like, there's some really great classic rock or, you know, music from the 70s or 90s, whatever.
Well, she could always just
I'm not on
turn the
TikTok.
volume down and put her own music on.
Yeah, give her her own music.
Yeah, tell her turn the volume down and play her own music.
Can't you put her in her own music?
My mom? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, mom and technology, they're even better than I am. I tell you, she is dialed with technology. But yeah, she could Mom, if you wanted, I would remake any video for you. No problem.
JP says,
so JP, like TikTok, like, I mean, it's such a job. Like, I'm gonna have Facebook, Instagram, my YouTube. Like, it's so much stuff. I gotta do some revenue generating activity too. Mom does not fly. No, she does not fly. She watches the flying.
Mom needs to get out there and fly. We need women in the sport.
Caleb, maybe if you started doing tandems on a trike, your mom would go.
Oh, she will. Yeah, she will. If I have to strap her in and just do it.
She said you'll get lots of likes.
And tell her she can play her own music, and you'll do a video with her music and all.
It's only going to cost me $20,000 for all that equipment. Sure. Yeah, I'll just turn the page and get it done.
Oh, she just said, I will when you get a trike.
Yes, it's been documented. Okay, maybe I'll find a way to make this happen for sure.
Oh,
for sure.
Yeah, you got to have a video of that.
And Jeannie, when you get up in flight, you get together with my mom and let her know how it went, because I think my mom's kind of scared too. She'll be fine.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, JP, it's nice to have you in here finally. Haven't seen you in a while, and you're a little late, dude.
Yeah.
Mom says she can't do the running takeoff.
No, not at all. But no, it would be great. You know, like one of the things that's great about flying tandem is the energy that your passenger gives back to you when you're in the sky it's amazing. Like it's incredible just how much energy transfers from one person to another. I mean, gosh, when I left my software sales gig and I was taking people on flights, I was like, man, this is more rewarding than like closing a deal. And actually, like the most impactful time that ever happened, I was in Twin Falls, Idaho, and I was driving over the bridge, and I saw some people like getting ready to base jump, and I'm like, oh my God, it's happening! I gotta stop. So I pulled the car over, and I was on my EUC. I zipped all the way down there. I'm like, you guys are gonna go! Oh my God! Oh my God! It was a couple. Like the boyfriend kisses his girlfriend, and then they both jump, and then 2 more people go and like they do cool things off the bridge. Like the stoke and energy that those guys transferred to me lasted for probably an hour and a half. I was like, I was just watching, and it was awesome. Like it's pretty cool just how like energized you can make someone else, or you can be yourself when people get around together. It's magical.
Nice. Luis, you got anything else?
I'm just going to say I'm not jumping off a bridge.
Right.
Or out of an airplane.
I would have to say, let me say one more thing about these guys. Like when Caleb was here and he was doing all the tandems, and a lot of some of his friends were here, and they would also do tandems and stuff like that. They were so sweet about taking people, like people that would have never gotten to do anything like this, or people that were maybe handicapped in some kind of way or something like that. They were so sweet about really giving them attention and doing something for them that was probably a once in a lifetime thing. And like all of you guys have always been so kind about that. Like you, I mean, quite a few, you and Tyler and Mo and Trevor and, all of you guys have been, that they're really, and they didn't charge or any of that kind of stuff. They did it just because they had a good heart, and they wanted people to experience the feeling of flight, and people that could have never done that by themselves.
Yeah.
And it was amazing things to see. Amazing things.
Well, thank you for saying that. There comes a point when you can give back, and that's an awesome place to be. I found that was the case when I was going back to doing a lot of trainings, and there were people that were, starting, and they would ask me questions, and I was able to help them. It was more rewarding to watch them advance and take flight and achieve this dream that they had ever had. And it's incredible actually when you can do that. And some people get to do it, at a young age, like Trevor. He's 18 years younger than me, but he's out there talking to folks that are 2, 3, 4 decades ahead of him, and they want his knowledge and experience. And a lot of other pilots too. Like it's great to be able to give back. And I think you at the first part of your life, you're trying to achieve everything, and you're like, oh, look at me, I did it, I finally did it, look at me, I did it. But like eventually that just gets it's boring. It's like it's the same thing over and over again. So anytime I have an opportunity to give back, it's really fun.
So that's kind of what my husband does too with the tandem. Last year we went down to Bad Apples, and he had taken the Zenit, the tandem along. And instead of charging anybody, we were introducing people to the sport and this flight by not charging them. And it's like they were so thankful for this. And it's like Chris Gwynn, who's in the chat, he was doing the same thing. And it's just we're doing it here in town at times too, because it's like we just got another note at the airport. We've got I think a 73-year-old that wants to take flight and knock it off her bucket list. And it's like, of course, she sends a mailed letter. She doesn't leave her phone number. So I've got to mail her back like snail mail.
Oh my God.
Then she'll call us. And it's like, yep.
That's as analog as it gets. Who does it really well? Matt Minyard. He's always doing that. I don't think it's Resurgence PPG. He calls it, I think, Project Airtime. No, maybe it is Project Airtime. But I've seen him take several folks that are, in a wheelchair and not able to walk themselves. Yeah. And it gives me goosebumps every time I see that. It's just such an awesome thing. Yeah. Yep. But
That's awesome.
Yeah, you know,
guys. Oh, hang on 1 second. I did stick the link in the chat if you guys are interested and want to join in here with Caleb at all. Come on in. Okay. Linda says, yep. Linda says tandems rock. She took a flight in Michigan with Eric last May, and she'll be doing it again. She screamed her lungs out, but she was in tears of happiness with it.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
So
we
good.
got a question here. Wiggy Wing wants to know what's Caleb's thought on fly-ins.
They're awesome. They're fun. I really like going to fly-ins, and yeah, so I was down at the Salton Sea, and I was lucky enough to be able to also go to the Arizona Flying Circus. I was only there for a day, but it's like a homecoming. I'd say it's nice when people, you know, that you haven't seen for maybe a year are there and they recognize your name. And, you know, there's also like amazing pilots to me. Like I met Alex Mateos and Chris Airfoil, and I met Tom, who does all the sales distribution for Parajet, and that's just a few. To get all those folks together and just watch them fly, talk to them, it's awesome. It's great. At the same time, you got to be smart, and you got to be smart about when you're flying. And the thing about fly-ins is, like, the bad side of fly-ins is there too, when people get hurt or, you know, worse. Nobody wants their friends to get hurt. Nobody wants to be at an event where, there's that hanging feeling in the air. And so, the thing about fly-ins is that it definitely builds an amazing community, and they're worth it. But, for me, like, my takeaway from the Salton Sea and what happened to me last week ago is that I really need to, like, commit to, like, a blueprint in my mind that I follow when I launch, that includes the environment, the weather, the gear, and me. And like, make a commitment that unless everything is going to be perfect, I'm just not going to be flying that day. And like, have a blueprint for when you're in the air too. Like, I'm about to pull a huge wing over. Like, I know, I'm thinking, okay, like, I'm going to pull right and wait for the sky, wait to see the ground perfectly, swing through the gate, boom. Like, blueprint every one of these things out, and you're not going to do it. You're going to stop unless everything is perfect. So I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. Like, the worst things that happen when you're flying is when you're having too much fun, when you're complacent, and you get a little carried away and cut some of the corners. And so flies, keep them going. Tori, hello, Sarah. Who are these other folks? JP. Yeah.
JP wants you to be on TikTok, and I'm flying Wisconsin as Dan. We fly with him, and okay. Sarah was a guest last week.
Nice. Sarah, I think we met at the Sand Lake, just like in passing. I might have talked to your son a couple times. Yeah. Tori, your beard is looking stronger and more majestic.
Well, it's coming along, isn't it? I'm impressed, Tori.
It's something. It's something.
Thank you. I appreciate all that.
Yeah. And Dan, you're in Wisconsin, I guess. I don't know if we've crossed paths yet.
We
nice
have
to meet you.
But yeah.
Ooh, I like what Darren's saying here. Will Caleb be the first to do a tandem power loop? Man.
No, I will not.
Going down power loops in this group.
The power loop stuff is it's pretty exciting to watch right now, but I just I don't want everyone I just don't want to see anyone get hurt. That's all it is. Like, you got to be right size. You got to have the right engine, and like, that combination plus the skills. There's probably only a handful of people in the world that should be even trying to do it.
Agreed.
The thing about that is, if you gift wrap yourself, the reserve might not necessarily save you if you're that wrapped up. like you said, you got to know exactly what you're doing before you even get in that neighborhood of trying anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's big boy territory, man.
I'm not interested. You know, the only thing that I would that I haven't done that I really want to do is a SAT. Surprisingly, I haven't done a SAT, and I would like to learn how to do a heli at some point.
I'm doing a SAT right now.
Tell me a little more about that, Tori. What does that mean? Can you be specific?
Great form too.
On my chair.
Great form.
Sat on my chair.
Oh, I get it. Oh my God, I'm thinking too deep. That went right over my head. Buddy.
Yeah, I did. You should not be attempting SATs. Not yet.
Professional satter.
Oh,
All right. So
All
what's
right.
good?
Well, any other questions in the chat before we let this crazy party go any further? So,
hey Jade, just wanted to say hats off to Eric and all he does and getting people introduced to the PPG flying, what he does with the tandem trike that he has.
yep.
Anything I can do to help promote that, please let me know.
You going to be at Sand Lake, Caleb?
Say that again.
I will be. I got a couple things going on, so I'll probably be there at the beginning, and I'll probably have to leave halfway through.
And Moses for sure, right?
100%, we're doing Moses Lake. Like I'm getting a trailer. I'm going to be there all week long. We're going to be.
It's going to be good this year.
It's going to be huge. The guys at Chelan like might even show up there with helicopters and do tandem and do skydiving jumps. But
right on.
That is going to be the
if
big
that
one.
happens, then that's going to put that thing on the map. You know what I mean?
I think
it's already gaining traction. So
yeah, more pilots, nighttime stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's
that's always one of my favorites.
I'm glad you come
Pretty
out,
cool.
Tori, and make that trip.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Caleb. What?
No, I was just gonna toss this out there. Like, so we got a friend who just picked up a golf
Like my shirt
on the back side. Turtle school. That's nice.
Turtle paramotor school.
Nice.
I need one of those.
I forgot who I got it from. It was a guy that was Sand Lake, or not Sand Lake, but Salton Sea. He was camping with us. Who was that guy?
He had some pretty clever stuff. Oh.
Yeah, he had a few different shirts.
Oh,
he gave me that one though.
An N?
Yeah,
I like it. I might have to go to Tucker's website and buy myself some of his. Wow, I feel like the sun is trying to melt me right now.
Holy crap! You got sun.
Yeah,
it's been dark for 2 hours here.
I know.
Where do you live? Do you have sun? That's crazy.
So I'm on the West Coast, and I'm in Kirkland, Washington.
Oh, that's wow.
Dirty windows.
See, Sarah's got some
2 hours
sun too.
behind me.
Yeah, our sun just went down like not too long ago, but it's still got snow on the ground in the front yard here.
I showed
about 2 feet of it here, Tori.
Tori, I showed Caleb all the snow we had too. He's like, he didn't even know what to say.
How much you guys have in Wisconsin?
2 feet.
A lot.
Yeah, on the ground in the front there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, ours is almost melted, but the mountains got a lot. We got like 3 or 4 inches about a couple weeks ago, and that's finally going away. But
yep.
Finally,
has anybody here gone skiing like with skis and the paramotor? Like that, I think if you got all that snow, this is such a perfect opportunity to do that.
Jay, didn't y'all do something with that?
No, I
would. Too much to go wrong with me, man. Too slippery.
Y'all put them on your trike.
There may have been some shenanigans.
Didn't y'all put them on your trike?
Yeah, we put the little skis on.
I didn't get them done yet. I was gonna.
Yeah.
I feel like you'd have to have like perfect condition. Like it has to be packed just enough. Like if it's not packed enough, you're not gonna move, right, Jade?
Well, Eric went up that one day with his, and it was a lot of drag. It took him forever to get up, but once he got up, he shot up right away. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna try snowboards if I do them because they're a lot smoother and you can wax them and make them really slippery, and then they go up. Although if you use like those snowmobile skis, they do have drag because they got that that big center part of it.
Yeah, they talked also about water skis, cutting them in half and taking the binding part off and strapping them around.
Wax them up real good.
Yep.
Wax.
Yep. Wax them.
Yeah, that is a lot of extra weight kind of dangling down below on your feet. I don't know if I'd want to do that. One thing I really want to do that I haven't, I want to have a giant American flag on my lap, and I want to like drop it out and fly with a big flag like 4th of July.
That would be cool.
I just need to know how you would do that.
You can have you grab it with your foot. You have somebody like hold the flag on a stand. They have it counterweighted at the bottom, so it kind of dangles and holds the flag open. And you have a hook, and someone holds it, or you position it, and then you just you fly by and grab it with your toe. At least I've seen people do it that way.
Let's figure out a way to make it work and do that at Moses Lake this summer.
Yeah, that would be cool. Or even a smaller version of that. I mean, it can't be too heavy because it's kind of.
Everybody's talking double.
There's got to be a way to tow it though, like an airplane does it.
Yeah.
Somebody had a post in here on the information on when the fly-in was, and I'm trying to find that.
It was in May.
May 4th. There we go.
Sand Lake or Moses Lake?
Picnic.
May 4th.
May
Yeah,
4th.
Sand Lake, I believe, is May 4th.
Okay.
Yep.
That's coming up.
Yep, I'll be there for that one too. I mean, it feels like there's a fly-in every quarter to go to. Like, it's starting to get expensive. I mean, we got the Southern Utah one. There's Moses Lake. There's a Sand Lake.
Yeah.
There's Salton Sea, and then there's like.
I don't know if I'm going to go to Salton next year.
Oh yeah.
If I go south, I want to go to the circus and see how that goes. I've never been to that.
It's a completely different type of vibe, man.
Yeah. I like the balloons and stuff. It'd be cool.
It's cool, dude. It's really cool, but it's more like an event with scheduled events and cool stuff, you know. But like the flying is not everyday flying like the way that we've experienced it before. So they have so much stuff going on. They got to schedule it all out.
Right. They got to like have a schedule or some kind. I don't know. I just want to go somewhere different too. I've been to like all those places, but Moab would be cool to try out.
Yeah,
Moab, yeah.
I've flown through Moab. Flew over the Corona Arch, not through it. But the thing about Moab is like when you're up on top, looking down on the rocks, the wind has like ripped through all the limestone for thousands of years. And it's like it looks like there's a river of wind, that's cut through the rocks, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's
that place I forget, like in Arizona, I think, called the Wave, and it's like that, where it's like super cool looking from the way it wore down through nature. Like I think it's in Antelope Canyon area where they have all those really cool rock formations in Arizona, those little slot canyons and stuff.
Right.
That they only allow a certain amount of people on it at a time, I guess, because they're trying to preserve it because it's such a unique formation.
What about you, Tori? I mean, there's got to be some great places to fly out in Montana.
Yeah, there is some really nice places, and I haven't seen a lot of them yet. But I tried to do some fly camping last year, and then the whole place got burned down by a forest fire, so that kind of messed up my plans. But yeah, we've got a lot around here. It's just the farther east you go, the more it kind of opens up. We've got more places to land, and they still got a lot of pretty areas. But where I'm at right now, it's really tightly treed, so you got to be real cautious with your flying, or real risky. One of the two.
Kevin can fly. You're going to go to Maine and go rip up snowmobiles? I thought you were going to go fly out there.
Don't forget, we've got, I'm pulling it up, the event calendar on the usppa.org. We have Sun and Fun coming up next week. And Tombstone, that's where my parents are down in Arizona, and I'm trying to get them to go to check it out. That starts. And then they have an ultralight fly-in also. They're separate. So the next two that are coming up, Sun and Fun, and I might go on live one of those days. So hit the bell and have that gentleman talking about Sun and Fun, and he wanted to do a live broadcast while he was out there.
Is that the old ultralight gathering? Because I know that's been going on for a long time, that Sun and Fun deal.
That's kind of like the sister of EAA. Oshkosh is EAA.
Yeah.
Yes, the second largest fly-in in the country.
Yeah, the Sun and Fun, so it's part of the Oshkosh gathering?
It's similar to it, yes.
Okay, because I remember back in the day when I was doing the fixed wing ultralights, I remember Sun and Fun was like one of the big ones that everybody went to.
Oh, okay.
What about that hot air balloon event that's in New Mexico?
Oh,
it's like the biggest hot air balloon thing. Would paramotors be unwelcome there? Or
probably because there's so many of them. We have a fly-in here, and we got to go with them 2 years ago, and then they kind of told us not to, and then some still went. PPCs flew last year, and they said they didn't have a problem with it, but there was only maybe 20 in the air at the time, and they went a short distance. But that New Mexico one, that's hundreds and hundreds of them. So I don't know if they would allow it. I've had a couple of the hot air balloon pilots on as guests, so I'm trying to get them back on because they were just out there for that.
Sarah, are you showing off your paramotor collection in your living room? What is that?
It's in my garage.
She fixed it.
Yeah, she
Okay.
just crashed.
Wearing it at her desk.
Is that a Black Hawk?
Oh, okay. I'm
What is
leaving,
that?
y'all.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I got to run too. Fantastic show.
Good night, JP.
All right.
It's been allotted, so
Great
you
show,
fine
guys.
folks
Thanks so
have a
much.
good night.
Thank you.
Nice
Great.
to meet you. You're kind of vocal.
Okay.
Good night, JP.
Hi, Jade.
All right, fired up. Take off out of the garage. Go for it.
Do it. Let's see it go. All right. Well, are we wrapping this up or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, this has been a really fun experience. It was really great. You guys were great hosts. Thanks for bringing my friends on. Rachel, thank you for saying so many sweet things. And yeah, this was great. You guys did a
very good show. Thank you so much.
You feel really welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully we can meet Caleb sometime. I don't know if it'll be this week while we're out there or not, but
yeah. Just hit me up when you guys are around, and same thing for Steve when he does make his way out here to Washington. There's a whole big old group of friends that want to fly.
Awesome. All right, and Rachel, thank you for surprising him. And Trevor, if you're still on, also thank you for helping surprise him.
Yeah.
So, and Scuba, thanks for joining, and Sarah, and the rest of you guys that were on here.
Thanks, everybody.
Everybody else that's not in the chat, they can, or in the chat, they can see faces. So,
thanks, Sarah.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night and fly safe, guys. See you next week. We're going to Canada next week with a guest that's going to be on. So we'll leave it at that.